If I had an extra $25,000, the last thing I'd be doing is trying to start a random side hustle, day trade, get into real estate, or be holding it in a high yield savings account. I'm going to show you a strategy that allows me to extract premium income from the stock market, whether it's going up, down, or sideways. And one lucky commenter down below on today's video is going to get a 7-day trial to our weekly Wheel Picks program. So if you want to be entered in to win that, just drop a comment down below on today's video and you know what to do. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. But guys, I'm so happy that you clicked this video because I'm going to show you something that I can't wait to teach my kids, right? And something I wish someone taught me decades upon decades sooner. And it is how to actually generate income from the stock market in a, quote unquote safer way. Now, this strategy does involve risk. I'm going to be the first one to tell you that everything in life involves risk, but I believe we get to name our terms on this risk that we are taking on. So let's go over the shoulder. I'm going to walk you through the whole strategy, and then I'm also going to share with you guys how I would allocate a $25,000 portfolio as well with 3 of my favorite stocks to run this strategy on. Let's get into it. First things first, you're going to need a brokerage account. Me, I truly don't care who you use. I like primarily use Fidelity for more advanced features that I talk about here on the channel, but I understand the appeal of Robinhood as well. Very simple, easy to use interface. It is a bit of a leaky bucket when you get into more advanced stuff, but we're going to use Robinhood for the sake of simplicity here. But there's Schwab, there's Moomoo, right? Take your pick. You can do this strategy on pretty much any brokerage. The next thing you're going to need to do once you open up your brokerage account is you're going to need to make sure you have options enabled, all right? Now, listen, I can't tell you how to answer specific questions on the application, but all we need to be able to do is basic options trading. I know you've probably had terrible experience with options trading, guys, but you're going to see this is a lot different. This strategy, what makes it so appealing is I get to name my price when I buy a stock. I get to name the date and I get to name the price that I'd be comfortable owning it. So for example, we'll just use SoFi. It's not one of the 3 that I'm going to show you here in a moment, but if I go to the trade SoFi options section, I'll go to sell put, and let's say I go out 30 days to November 28th. All I'm saying here is I'm willing to buy 100 shares of SoFi on November 28th, and I get to name my price. So for example, if I'm comfortable, let's say buying it at $26, right, at close on the 28th, if it's at trading at $26, I'd collect $122 of premium. That premium is coming from an options buyer, okay? Now, that's the first part of this, and let's just talk quickly about the risks, right, before we get into allocation of a $25,000 portfolio, right? I'm saying I'm willing to buy SoFi for $26 at close on the 28th. So my brokerage is going to lock up $2,600 of my capital, right? Because this is called a cash secured put, right? So 26 times 100, if I do one single contract, one contract equals 100 shares, is $2,600. So I'm locking up $2,600 to make $122. Now, that may not seem too significant for you, but you could see on my cash secured put calculator, I am getting about a 4.69% return on my money for locking up my capital for 33 days. Results vary, not financial advice. These premiums are constantly changing. This is just what I'm seeing at my screen at the time of recording. So let's talk about the risks, okay? What can actually happen if we executed this trade? First and foremost, let's say the 28th rolls around, okay? And SoFi at close on the 28th is trading at like $30 or whatever, right? It's above 26. Your contract expires worthless. That's not a bad thing. That means your $2,600 is no longer locked up with your brokerage anymore. It's given back to you to, you guessed it, do another play and collect some more premium, right? The second thing, right, is let's say, right, on the 28th, SoFi is trading at 25, 24, 23. It's trading at 26 or below at close. Guess what? You're now buying your shares for 26. So you're not going to be given your $2,600 anymore. You're going to be given 100 shares of SoFi with a cost basis of $26. Now that's all well and good because what we can then do with those shares is we can rent those same shares right back out. And that's called a covered call, right? Meaning we have 100 shares. You probably own 100 shares of a stock right now, and you didn't even know you could probably do this, right? Which is my mission with this channel, is to tell people that you could actually rent out your shares for income, right? Now, let me show you, right? All we have to do now is flip the script from selling a cash secured put to selling a covered call. Now, at the time of recording this, obviously SoFi is trading at 29. Let's just assume our cost basis is $29 for 100 shares of SoFi. Now, what I can say is, you know what? Let's say if it's it hits $32, right, at close on the 28th, right? I'm cool letting my shares go that I bought at 29 at 32. Now, if we did this trade, the premiums are juicy here. We would collect $153 of premium right here. Okay, so this $153 in premium, I like to toss it into my covered call calculator. If you want my calculators, you want my trade logs, you want all this goodness, it's free, baby. Second link in the description, right? Go take a look at that. That's a 2-hour training on the Ark Options Strategy, which is more detail on what I'm going through here. Plus, I'm going to show you how to use all this stuff, and at the end, you can get these calculators for yourself for free, no strings attached, right? So we're collecting $153 of premium for our strike of an option. That is what we're willing to sell our 100 shares of SoFi on. We're collecting 30. We said 32. We bought them for 29, and that is a 5.28% premium return. That is 153 divided by $2,900 if we bought 100 shares outright and we're running this strat, right? Obviously, not financial result vary. You already know, fam. You already know. No everything results 100% vary, right? But with that said, what are the risks with the covered call side? All right. Now, biggest risk, right, is let's say the 28th rolls around, you open up your phone. That's why I love this strategy, guys. We could open it and I'm hanging out for 33 days. Now, I do recommend as you get into this more, you're going to like take it to the next level and the next level. And there are more advanced strategy, closing your position early, all that good stuff. Again, watch the link in the description. There's way more information about this. I'm kind of simplifying it for all of us right now, but a lot of people run the strategy the way I'm sure. I would say most people do, right? They'll open up this contract, say they're willing to sell their 100 shares of SoFi on 28th, and they'll literally not look at their phone. They'll open it up. That's why I say this strategy is built for busy people. If you're a busy person like me, you got kids, you got family, you got faith, you got work, you got business, you got literally everything else besides staring at on the screen. Welcome, you're at the right place, right? But with that said, let's say I open up my phone on the 28th, okay? And SoFi's trading at 30, anything below 32. My shares are returned back to me by my broker. They're not locked up anymore. And guess what? I rent them out again to collect them, right? It's collect and rent, I look at it like, right? Second thing that can happen. This is the biggest risk. You got to be made aware of, fam, right? If you open up your phone on the 28th, right? And let's say SoFi's trading at $35. Guess what? You selling it at 32 because you have mapped out your trade here. This is your max profit potential on this trade. Is that good? Is it bad? Look, for me, I treat this like a business. I'm not going to be crying about no gains in a single month if I sell my shares. This is all about locking in gains. Listen, lock in gains. I can't, dude, like, I swear, like, so many people everywhere that you end up hurt, in my opinion. Buy and hold, of course. Everybody should buy and hold. But any extra income, at least that I have, I'm putting towards this strategy because my goal of this, I treat it like a business. I treat it to create profit. I reinvest those profits, right? I optimize the crap out of this strategy, right? So let's talk about allocation, right? If I had $25,000, what would I do, right? Now, you guys already know I do have a little public portfolio here on the channel that I started with 5,000, which has had amazing results in my opinion. But as you grow as your portfolio grows, you're going to want to diversify a bit more. Okay. Now I have 3 stocks that I personally love running this strategy on, and I'm going to share them with you guys right now. Okay. Now with $25,000, right, we're a little bit limited to what we can do, right? Not limit. Actually, we have a lot, we do have actually some decent options. All right. So for example, one of my favorites is Verizon, okay? Now, Verizon here, right, if we go into our Robinhood here, right, is it's trading at around $38 right now, okay? So let's go over to Verizon, and this is how I map out my stuff. When I am thinking about, hey, how diversified am I? I'm showing you guys the exact strategy. So I'm going to the options channel, I'm going to sell put, and I'm going to go to my around 30 days out. Listen, there's a difference. We could do weeklies. Yes, if you do like weekly expirations, you can do and will get better returns. But there's more management and there's more risk involved. If you want to learn more about that, just keep diving into the channel, watch the content, join our Facebook group, like immerse yourself. I would say if you're a beginner and you just click this video, which most likely you did, that's kind of like the angle of this video is definitely for more beginners, not you that are like optimizing the wheel strategy with me and the whole crew. But with that said, start monthly. I say it always takes about a year to get, you really got to get a good understanding of this strategy. All right. Give it a year. Okay. You'll get, because there's a lot of situations you can get put in, believe it or not. It's simple to explain, but the management is critical. Okay. So with that said, looking at Verizon here, right? So here I'm on my cash secured puts, and let's say I want to buy it around 38. Me personally, I love it at 38, but whatever. We'll say, you know what? I'm comfortable owning Verizon for $38, right? Right in 33 days, okay? And I'm gonna show. This is what I want to show you guys. Right? I'm gonna go to my cash secured put. I'm locking up $3,800. Which is 38 times 100. I'm collecting. What did we say? $43 of premium here. $43, and yes, that's coming from the options buyer. Guys, email me, Peter at Only Peter Peru. We're all getting together and sending some Christmas cards to the options buyers this year. Christmas is right around the corner, and you know they need as much help as they possibly can because they are absolutely degenerates, and they have honestly provided some good premium to us throughout this year. I would say so. So if you want to chip in to sending some Christmas cards to those less fortunate, jokes aside. So whatever. Listen, I got to keep it light. So I'm getting about 1.13% return on this specific trade. Now, look, if you compare it to SoFi, where we're collecting now 5% almost return on collateral. Listen, guys, you got to weigh this stuff for yourself. You're risky, right? When you're trying to go for 5-6% return on your collateral in a month, you understand there's a lot more risk in there, okay? It's a lot more risky, all right? So you got to make sure you understand that. So with this one, you know, it's a 1.13. I don't love it, but you know what? I'd probably take this trade just to kind of ease into everything with a smaller portfolio. Now, obviously, that leaves me with a good amount of capital still available. So what am I looking at? Next one I'm going to look at is Realty Income. Realty Income is one of my favorite companies. Something I call the Ark Options Strategy. We combine 5 income streams into one simple strategy that you can literally do in an hour a week, if that, okay? And essentially, I took the wheel strategy and I over-engineered it. So one of the things that I love to do with the wheel strategy is run it on dividend-paying stocks. Why do I like to run it on dividend-paying stocks? Well, because guess what? An extra 4, 5, 6% a year in dividends, right, stacks up alongside those premiums as well. And right, Realty Income has a fantastic business model, in my opinion, and is awesome for selling options. So let's go over to our O, right? We'll click into, let me see right here, Realty Income. We'll go to our trade options section. We'll sell a put, right? And we'll go out. Now, you're going to, with a Realty Income, you're not going to be able to, there's not as many contract or expiration dates as available. So let's just do the 26, right? And we'll just say, you know what, we're cool buying it at even 60. Just for simplicity, we're playing close to the money. Let's just say we really like all these companies, and it has to be worth our while as well, right? So you can see the 57.5s. Only $30 on that. Not worth it in my opinion, right? So the 60s, at least I've collected $105 in premium, right? So now I'll get it back over to my cash secured put calculator. I'm locking up $6,000 here on this trade, but I'm collecting $105. That gives me over a 1.5% return in a month. How much money have we locked up right now? We've locked up around $9,800, right? Just about $10,000. Now, one other stock that I like to mix in is Procter & Gamble. Why? Because I believe in diversification. I love running this strategy on boring, repeatable companies that if I end up getting assigned, right, which is the biggest risk of this strategy, the reason people blow their accounts is because they get into stocks, they end up having to hold them, and they're never able to sell them for more than what they bought them for. So I try to mitigate that risk for myself by sticking to stocks that are actually worth holding, right? And in my opinion, Procter & Gamble is a great company, great dividend on it, and if I have to hold it for a while, I like it, right? And at this time me recording this, it's trading well below its 200 and 300-day moving averages of 164 and 161. So let's go take a look at what PG has to offer in terms of premium. So if I go over to my trade PG options, I would click sell put, and I would go out to about 30 days, right? And I would say, you know what? Let's just do the 150s, right? It's trading at 153 at the time we're recording this. And I get a nice $202 of premium here, okay? So let's put this into our cash secured put calculator, right? I will copy and paste this again. And I will put that I will lock up $15,000 right here. And let me put my 15. I'm collecting what? 205, I said. 202. We're collecting $202 of premium here, which is fantastic, right? And that gives me a 1.35% return. If I was just beginning this, and then you could say actually right at the money, I swear to you, I didn't even plan this. Because you guys already know I don't script my videos. I'm a one-man show here. All right. But with that said, 24, right at 25K. So if I was a beginner and doing it, I would take these trades. Why would I take these trades as a complete beginner? Because in my opinion, they're not super risky plays. In my opinion, we're not going for something crazy in our return on our collateral. We're sticking kind of close to the money on great stocks, in my personal opinion. And we're just getting our feet wet with collecting what? We collected a total of $350 of premium, right, on locking up just under $25,000. And the best part about this strategy, right, is that it compounds beautifully, right? A lot of brokerages will actually pay me, right, on this $25,000 while I wait to buy stocks as well, right? I primarily use Fidelity. You could do it with Schwab. You could do it with Mumu. A couple others. Just need to make sure that you're setting it up correctly for yourself. But I'm earning interest on this money as well of around 4% a year at the time of me recording this on that 25,000, and I'm earning monthly premiums as well. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure that like and follow button. If you all my calculators here, right, hit that second link in the description. That's our Ark Options Strategy workshop. It's going to go into way more depth of this entire strategy that we just went over here over in a course of about an hour and a half to 2 hours. What better way to spend your evening, in my personal opinion? So click that second link, and at the end of that training, I will give you all of these calculators that you can walk away with and start implementing. Guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.